All right, so I'm going to be doing the Copa America predictor, no bias edition, of course. Let's get straight to Group A. Group A, we got FIFA's team. Argentina, and then Canada, Chile, and Peru. I'm not going to be biased here. I think Argentina has to be first place, especially because they've been given the easiest group you can imagine. And then second place, we have Canada, we have Chile and Peru. Chile is filled with old legendary players. Canada, though, they have Alphonso Davies. Canada has Alphonso Davies, but I've watched some CONCACAF games recently. I've watched Jamaica, I've watched Mexico, I've watched the US, and they're all terrible. Like, they're terrible. I cannot imagine Chile being much better. If anything, they're probably worse than the US. So I'm gonna have to put Chile in second. The team of old legendary players are gonna finish second. And then Group B, Ecuador, Jamaica, Mexico, and Venezuela. For sure, I have no doubt in my mind, Ecuador is the best team in this group. If you don't know, Ecuador has been doing pretty well, especially on their way to qualify for the World Cup. They did really well. And then second place, we got Jamaica, Mexico, and Venezuela. Bro, just because these CONCACAF teams are so trash, I'm going to actually have to put Venezuela second place, even though Venezuela is probably the second worst team in South America. The only team worse than Venezuela in South America is Bolivia. I've seen Jamaica play recently, terrible. Mexico recently, they're terrible too. Probably better than Jamaica, though. So I'm going to put them above Jamaica. And Venezuela have Soteldo and Savarino. These players who play in the Brazilian league, they're really, really decent players. You know, I think it'll be enough for them to finish second place. And then Group C, we have the worst South American team ever, Bolivia. And then we have Panama, Uruguay, and the United States of America. I think this one should be easy for Uruguay. Uruguay should be topping the group with Darwin Wizzy, Darwin Nunes. They should definitely be in first place. And they got Valverde too. They got some decent players. Second place, even though these CONCACAF teams are terrible, Bolivia is the worst team in South America. I think the US is going to finish second, especially because the tournament is taking place in their own home. Bolivia, they normally have the advantage at home because the altitude of their stadium is so high that the players versing Bolivia normally can't breathe properly. So then they have that advantage and they do pretty decent at home. But here in the US, they don't have that advantage. So the US is going to have home advantage too. I think they'll go through. And then Group D, this is honestly going to be the most entertaining group. We got Brazil, legendary team. Then we got Colombia. They haven't lost a game in 21 games. And on this streak, they versed Brazil. They versed Germany. I believe they versed Uruguay. And they still haven't lost, bro. They're doing amazing. And then we got Costa Rica and Paraguay. Group D is definitely going to be Brazil first place. And then Colombia second place. The order is already correct. And then I actually think Paraguay will finish above Costa Rica. Colombia, if they were ever to beat Brazil, this is definitely the time for them to beat Brazil because they're doing amazing. We don't have Neymar. But even then, I think if Brazil has a normal Brazil game, we will beat Colombia. I think Colombia would have to have an amazing game and Brazil would have to have a trash game for them to go through Brazil. So I'm going to say Brazil goes through in first place and Colombia second. And then for the knockout rounds, quarterfinals, we have Argentina against Venezuela. Let's not sit here and waste any time. Argentina's going through. I'm not going to be biased. Then we got Ecuador and we got Chile, a team of old legendary players. I don't think these old legendary players like Alexis Sanchez, Vidal, possibly Medal might still be there. Medal now plays in the Brazilian league for Vasco. He might still be there. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think they're going to go through Ecuador. I think Ecuador recently, they've been doing pretty well. I think they're going to go through Chile. Then we got Uruguay and Colombia. Probably the best game out of all these four games here. Uruguay, they have history. They have a bunch of Copa Americas that they've won a billion years ago. They have 2 World Cups that they've won, but also a billion years ago. But recently, I think Colombia is the better team. Like, individually, I think they're the better team. They got Luis Diaz. They got John Arias, who plays for Fluminense. He just won the Libertadores, being a crucial player to that team. Libertadores being the Champions League of South America. They have Richard Rios. They have James Rodriguez. He's currently playing in the Brazilian league for São Paulo, and he doesn't play well for São Paulo. But for whatever reason, for Colombia, he performs. I think Colombia have the better team, and they have this streak going. I think Colombia is going to keep the streak going against Uruguay. And then Brazil against US. We're not going to sit here and think about that too much. Brazil is going to go right through. And then semifinals, Argentina against Ecuador. In my opinion, Ecuador even if they had the best game of their lives and Argentina had one of the worst games of their lives, I think Argentina could still end up going through Ecuador. I think as long as Argentina has a normal game, even if they have a bad game, I think they're going to go through Ecuador. Ecuador is decent, but bro, not decent enough to beat Argentina. I'm not going to be biased. And then we got Colombia against Brazil. Banger of a match. But like I just said, unless Brazil has a terrible game and Colombia has the best game of their lives, Brazil should be able to go through. Like even if we just have a decent game, a normal Brazil game should be enough to go through Colombia, in my opinion. Like I don't even think that's a question. And then for third place, most people aren't gonna watch this game because it's third place. I'm gonna say Colombia. Ecuador is good. They have a decent team, but Colombia, they're better, in my opinion. And then for the final, we have the biggest rivalry of all time, Argentina against Brazil. This is gonna be a big game. It's gonna be an intense game. I think individually, Brazil has the best team. We have the best team. We have Vini, the future Ballon d'Or winner for sure. We have Rodrigo. We have Endrick. We have Paquetá. We have Andres Pereira, the Fulham center mid that people are sleeping on. We have Militão, Real Madrid center back. We have Gabriel, the center back for Arsenal. We have Alisson, Ederson in goal. We individually have the better team. We do. That's a fact. And I think the only way Argentina beats Brazil is if Messi has a special game. If he has a special game, then Argentina will win the Copa America. But if Messi just has a normal Messi game, which is still great, a normal Messi game is a great game. But even then, I don't think it will be enough to beat Brazil. Not this time, in my opinion. And I think this right here guarantees the Ballon d'Or for Vini. This should guarantee the Ballon d'Or for Vini. And honestly, even if Vini has a decent Copa America, just a decent Copa America, and he doesn't win the Copa America, he should still be winning the Ballon d'Or. If the Ballon d'Or is not rigged, he should be winning it. And let's say Messi wins the Copa America and he has a great performance. In my opinion, under no circumstance should Messi be winning the Ballon d'Or this season. He should not be winning the Ballon d'Or, even if he has a great Copa America and wins it.